Yeah, hi guys. Welcome to the MetaLife AMA hosted by Research DAO. I'm the host for today, Ben, and joining us are Brian, co-founder of MetaLife, Henry, advisor of MetaLife and founder of SmartMesh, and CC from Huobi Research. Welcome, guys.
Hello, Ben.
Hello, Ben. Thank you for having us.
Oh, my absolute pleasure. Yeah. So just a bit of introduction about Research DAO. We're a research DAO that's dedicated to investment research and advice for blockchain and Web3 projects and investments. And yeah, that's just about that. As for MetaLife itself, I'll let Brian and Henry talk about that. But meanwhile, let's invite CC from Research DAO to tell us about the importance of decentralization and Web 2 versus Web 3. CC?
Hello. Thanks, Ben. And thank you all once again for having me here. Very honored to talk about the Web 3 with Dr. Wang and Mr. Brian. So today the topic is Web 3. Just briefly through my opinion, and later we'll ask Dr. Wang to make up for it. Well, I think that the most important characteristic of Web 3 is decentralization. Well, as we know, Web 2 is centralized, that users interact with the centralized database, and all the value is taken away from the platform operator. For example, for most of the data service provider, after finally developing you into a user, the Web 2 company is more likely to use your data to make money. For example, they'll sell you privacy for a third party. That's why we all get harassing calls. If a Web 2 operator develop a billing system, it can build networks for people and charge them. The large operators naturally monopolize the resources of the internet, as is the case with Amazon and eBay. The platform solves the payment problem. Users pay for the purchase, and the large operator get all the data of the users and monopolize the value of the data. Well, as the application grow larger and larger and control all the centralized information, the internet will no longer be decentralized internet designed by Licklider and the team. As a monopoly, you have more bargaining power. Well, Web3, I think, has removed the central database, and there's a direct interaction between users. And its currency system programming is based on the blockchain P2P system. There's no middleman in between. So I think the decentralization is the important part of Web3. However, it seems more high efficiency will be sacrificed. I found that more and more users would not take decentralization into account, such as Steppen is fully centralized, but their users seem not to criticize it too much. So I was wondering, I'm not sure decentralization is whether it is there is a demand for that or not.
Cool, great stuff. So now let's get back to MetaLife. I'll let Brian and Henry talk about it. So guys, tell us, what exactly is MetaLife?
Thank you, Ben. Henry, you want to start?
Yep. So yeah, Brian. Yes, CC talked about Web 2 and the Web 3, and I think it's the right time for the decentralization, because because more and more, and this kind of phenomenon, and actually reflected the Web 2 already developed to the point, and its highest point. And for example, for the Facebook, the whistleblower, and also for the DD was punished by the Chinese government, and the TikTok was actually divided from the the Chinese Web 2 and divided as United States and TikTok and with the centralized server and to have the sovereignty issue. So Web 2 always come with the sovereignty issue, and the Web 2 cannot be globalized. And in the future, the Web 2, the websites, applications can only be used and deployed within one sovereignty country. So only Web 3 with the decentralization, with privacy, with data ownership belongs to the users and can be global. So I will later explain more about this kind of like development and also the history about Web 3. But I leave the Brian to explain and what is MetaLife. Yeah.
Thank you, Henry, and thank you, CC and Ben. And it's great to see all these wonderful people joining our discussion. Thanks to this amazing growing MetaLife community. We've done some great things over the last few months, and one of the reasons why I was extremely excited to work with this amazing growing team and work with Henry was the fact that now is the first time where the technology and hardware that we all walk around with, we can accomplish great things by moving data and connectivity, regardless if there is any internet or not. And that is MetaLife. And the ability to be able to connect the unconnected world has been something that I've been extremely passionate about since 2001. I'm from New York City, New Jersey area, and when those Twin Towers came down, I was obsessed with Nextel, which was a push-to-talk radio connectivity communication frequency that I said that is extremely important. And if you fast forward now, 21 years later, it's still the same model where you have a cell tower go up and cell phones connect to that tower for connectivity, or you have a Wi-Fi hotspot in your home or office or in the town or city that you live in, and you connect to that. But if there is no power connecting to those towers or those Wi-Fi stations, then our very expensive smartphones really are just expensive MP3 players. So through my evolution of always working on technologies, working with great companies, being able to say how important it is to connect to people, regardless if there's any internet or not, but also what is the true global market? Right now, everybody says the global market economy is, first world countries, but there's 3-4 billion other people that are walking around with a smartphone that don't have constant connectivity or no connectivity or limited connectivity. And that's where MetaLife is going to come in and really change people's lives, help give them access to communities, be able to get information, be able to farm better, maybe even be able to earn a couple extra dollars a month. And that will change people's lives. And those are some of the main reasons why I'm so committed to this incredible technology, this great team, and working alongside Henry and Sohar and the rest of these amazing people have been very, very inspirational. And we've only just begun, and it's just an honor to do the great things that we're doing here.
Sounds great. That is truly revolutionary technology. Yeah, so, well, of course, you and Henry are both great people, but I'm sure that, it's more than just the two of you working on MetaLife. Could you tell us more about the team behind MetaLife, guys?
Yeah, Brian just mentioned, and Sohar, Brian and Sohar is co-founder for the MetaLife, and also Lisa, and lead the business development. And Lisa is, with Web3 passion that I think, and, she will make everything as possible. And we have a great team in development. And, it's extremely hard to connect the iOS with Android and with Bluetooth. When there's no internet and, cell phones, iOS can connect with iOS. That's AirDrop. And Android can connect with Android and with direct Wi-Fi or Bluetooth. But, there is a barrier to connect iOS and Android. And our team made breakthrough last year. So that makes upgrade communication and possible for all kind of cell phones. So there's a great team like Ian and also Long-Mi and with the development center. So they make things and they actually invent things. that's the last pieces for the Web3 protocol. It's offline payment. So we really have a great team and to do this MetaLife app. So it's I can say it is the hardest and most difficult app and can be developed because it's a peer-to-peer connections with the creator economy. It supports not only layer 1 blockchain and also cross-chain and layer 2 and offline payment. So it's amazing, and our beta testing is it's in the community core. It's has started, and 1 month later, there's going to be a public beta testing. So I'm very proud with this MetaLife team. I'm the advisor, and also BM is also the advisor. He's a co-founder actually of the EOS, and he's also the creator, the inventor of the first blockchain-based social network called Steemit, and also Voice. Okay, and actually, and the BM Dan Larimer, and when he left EOS, he actually want to and build Clarion OS, which is also a peer-to-peer social network with the creator economy. But when he met with MetaLife team, he found actually MetaLife already realized most part of the Clarion OS. That's why he joined MetaLife as an advisor. Okay, and also in our advisor team, there's also Professor David Lee, who is the leader of the blockchain in Singapore, and also the Chuck Hoglight, the president of Singapore and Blockchain Association. So we have a great and advisory team also, and with ESTV CEO, which is the largest American and online esport websites. So we have a very close collaboration when the MetaLife is going to be launched very soon. Okay, thanks.
Got it. Whoa, so sounds like a fantastic team with great resumes behind this absolutely revolutionary project. So Henry, I would just like to divert a little. I was just wondering if you could tell us more about Smart Mesh and what's the connection between MetaLife and Smart Mesh.
Okay, so let's come back to the questions actually also and raised by CC. So what is Smart Mesh? So, I graduated from Washington University. Okay, I pursue my PhD study in computer science. And our founding father, Lick Leider, and also graduated there, and his major is physics. And my previous major is also astronomy and physics. I pursue my PhD study in Northwestern University in the astronomy and the physics department. So there's a close connection with the founding father of our internet. And when he raised this concept of internet, he actually named it intergalactical computer network. It's decentralized. It's not centralized because he made this network for the purpose of decentralization. Because at those time, the former Soviet Union just launched the first satellite. So that can be a big progress of humankind and also a big threat to the United States. Therefore, and Lick Leider is thinking about a decentralized network that can keep safe all the important the connectivity and the informations. So from very beginning, it is decentralized. But unfortunately, because of the progressive and the achievement made by the pioneers of the internet, and they don't have ways to transmit value. So they only have ways to transmit information. Therefore, TCP/IP is invented. And until Web 2, and there's only information can be transmitted. So therefore, whoever control the billing functionality and who will control the internet. So that's why carriers, when they deploy internet and they control the internet, okay? And also the big applications, for example, Facebook and Twitter, they have a lot of users, and they accumulated a huge amount of users' data, okay? So, and also they can build data through their services and also build the enterprise with their advertisement. So those applications can develop billing functionality and control the internet. Okay, so for ordinary users, and their data is just in the server. It's just like a human being and naked. They don't have any privacy, right? So that's the problem of Web 2. Okay, without privacy, and actually the Web 2 can be the single point of failure or hack. So there's too many bad things happened, and everybody knows. Okay, so how to protect the internet? How to make the internet, as our founding father Nick Leider intended to invent? So the Tim Berners-Lee actually also proposed, who invented the World Wide Web, also invented the semantic web. It's actually for the data ownership and to belong to the users. Okay, so that's called Web 3. Actually, back in 2003, I coined the term Web 3. And also at that time, I call it semantic web. But semantic web is actually proposed and in 1999 by Tim Berners-Lee. And until 2006, Tim Berners-Lee also named semantic web as Web 3.0. People tend to think semantic web have nothing to do with the current Web 3, but actually they are the same. Okay, then we come back to Smart Mesh. Smart Mesh actually is a blockchain-based network. It's purely decentralized. So actually the blockchain add into the protocol layer so that the TCP/IP is a very thin layer of communication protocol. But with Smart Mesh added in the blockchain and with the hub by hub and this kind of incentivization for the packet transfer, token transfer, and it make possible the value internet can be formed. So the Smart Mesh whole ecosystem is about value internet and Web 3. So to build the value internet, Smart Mesh ecosystem also have a cornerstone and foundation called Meshbox. It's a hardware, and it can, it's like a home router but with storage. It also can form a mesh network among all the mesh boxes, and together with the POM consensus, without carrier, users can build their own network. So in this fundamental layer, the network will build from bottom-up way instead of the top-down approach by the carriers. So, the internet have 60 years history, but, half of the world population is not connected. But I believe within the next 10 years, and with also the development of the low Earth orbit satellites like Starlink, like OneWeb, and the whole population will be connected with space-ground integration network formed by Smart Mesh and the Meshbox. So we call it value internet. So that will be the actually the genesis of the value internet. And upon the value internet, there comes the meta life applications. So Smart Mesh is a public chain at the layer 2 and make offline payment. And Matchbox is hardware to support, to build the network from bottom up way. And MetaLife is application protocol that all kinds of social network and GameFi, education, e-commerce can be built on the MetaLife. So MetaLife actually is fully decentralized. It can work without servers, without centralized servers. So even without the internet, it can also work. So it can help connect all the people and currently unconnected into the internet.
Got it.
Okay,
Got
so
it.
that's a brief of the smart mesh. Yeah. Okay.
Got it. Cool stuff. So it sounds like you guys are trying to build a truly decentralized internet, one that's of the people, by the people, for the people. So I'm just wondering if you could elaborate more on this concept of a truly decentralized internet. Brian, Henry.
Yeah. So I met Brian, and we both have the passion, and we talk about the same scenario, like a music concert, right? Without the internet, but the people can still connect with each other, right? So at that moment, with the cell phone, even without internet, we can talk to each other. That's fully decentralized, right, Brian?
That's correct. Yeah, I was 2015. I was building a company, launched a great company for that exact reason, to connect the fans at a music venue to help artists and content creators able to earn more money. And I coined it as Internet of the Moment. We had an enterprise app and SDK for that were marketing companies or promoters, fans, and artists. And it was an amazing company we built. However, the limitation was the technology, like the hardware that we have today. So I get to work with hundreds of companies around the world, Fortune 500 companies. So many companies are saying that they're Web3 and that they're fully decentralized, and that's not the case. Most blockchain solutions are progressing towards that, but they're in that Web 2.5 stage with decentralization functions like incentives and identity authentication. However, most of these social networks are still relying on servers for their core media solutions and functionalities. Where it turns into Web3 and true Web3, what MetaLife has developed and launching and building into the world is a social network protocol that removes servers totally. So that's one of the most key important functionalities of a serverless environment, where the app, the storage, the identity, the authentications are all done on one singular device, and that's a device that's in your hand. So you have a complete microchain storing transactions and following of the user. So that is exactly what we have, and all the companies that I speak with, and all the amazing technology companies that we even have partnerships with, big public companies, they're nowhere near this type of mission or have this type of application for the world. They're all relying on servers for their functionalities. So we have a big market differentiator on what we've built, and like Henry said, it is not easy. I've been building software and technology since the late 90s. It's one of the most hardest and painful things to do, especially when you, like Henry said, have a vision and you know where the market's going, and you know what you want to create, and you just keep going at it, and you just keep moving, and you keep pushing forward. You keep bringing in the right people like we've done, and the right partners, and where we are today. I don't think there's anybody close to what we have and what we can contribute to humanity.
Got it. Great stuff, guys. Really. So, just one quick question here. So, when do you guys expect the project to be completed to the stage where it can truly compete with the current internet? Having this new network, having the potential to replace the current old internet, if you will. What are the milestones that you have reached, and what are the milestones that that you expect to be reached in the next 1 to 2 years?
Yeah. So actually, to be comparable to the information internet. So when the value internet can be compared to the information internet, that's still a long way to go. Okay, I proposed the Web3 and 2003. And mainly, Tim Berners-Lee contribute to the decentralization. And also, your word for the people, by the people, and of the people is actually by Tim Berners-Lee. And he's working on that, for so many years, and also with a project called Solid and Pod. So most people don't know about these projects. And somebody knows about this project, but don't really understand. I will shortly explain a little, okay? So, for example, with Web 2 applications, users' data stored on Facebook like servers, right? The Web 2 servers, okay? And therefore, semantic web means users' data still stored in the cloud, but the platform cannot read users' data. Only user can read their own data. And this other applications can actually access this data with authorization of the users. So that means users' personal online data can be accessed by many applications. So that's exactly what semantic web actually is Web3. But unfortunately, Tim Berners-Lee never add blockchain into Solid and Pod. So there's no incentivization in his solution. So he tried hard to persuade those big giants to work with him. And he even invented a contract of web. But, when he talked to those giants, Web 2, companies, and no one want to hand out users' data because that data make them very rich, right? It's much richer than the drug dealer, okay? So because every user and turn in their data freely, so for the company to make money. So there's no way they're going to give up. So that's why the founding father for the World Wide Web currently have no way to realize what semantic web want to do. So that's why we should combine the blockchain technology with the semantic web. Okay, so in the semantic web, user got their own data, but how do they create value? So use blockchain incentivization technology. That's what MetaLife is doing. So MetaLife, users hold their own data, and the big data company can only take advantage of users' data if the user authorizes them to do. Okay, so that's why this has a procedure, and this have a lot of technology and also bottleneck and to break through by the joint effort of human beings. So Web3 revolution is like not like for example 2 or 3 years. It take longer time because Web3 decentralization will have sometimes will result in a bad user experience. For example, if you make payment with PayPal, it's simply like lightning speed. But if you make payment with Bitcoin or Ethereum, it take a long time, right? So that's a bad user experience. But fortunately, we have all the ways to solve these problems. For example, Bitcoin have Lightning Network, and MetaLife have Photon Network. The Photon Network can make payment as fast as the PayPal. Also, Photon Network inside the MetaLife can do offline payment, which PayPal cannot do because PayPal make payment use centralized servers, without internet or without the power, it cannot make payment. But MetaLife is different. MetaLife uses peer-to-peer communications and value transfer. So that's why without power or internet, two cell phones, all cell phones with like, for example, 7-Eleven, like a POS, they can still make payment. So that's what needed by the cashless society. Okay, so for the next 10 years, but Web3 revolution definitely will be realized. And at that moment, if people still use Web2, that means they are, they are naked. They're still naked. So Web3 is the clothing for humankind. So I think within 10 years, Web3 will definitely achieve the victory. Okay, it will be the same size. But for recent 2 or 3 years, it can be difficult. But MetaLife will be the breakthrough point.
So my question is, sir, there are people who don't know about crypto. Getting those people on board can be a driving key for success. As most will agree, crypto world can be a little bit confusing for newcomers. So do you have a plan for attracting those people, making their entrance to crypto world easy?
So sorry, what's your question there? Could you please give it in a rather succinct form? Yeah.
I just want to ask her, many people don't know about crypto. So do you have a plan for attracting those people, making their entrance to crypto world easy?
Got it. So
Sure.
So yeah, sure, go on.
Yeah.
So yeah, Brian Henry.
Johnny has a very good question. So that's also why MetaLife and was created. Crypto right now, the crypto population is very small now. Okay, and DeFi users is only like 5 or 7% of crypto users. So there have to be a killer application, always sometimes called a super application, that can, educate and our Web2 users and make them used to the crypto world. So MetaLife is designed with a social network. So why we choose this point? Because from Web2 and to Web3, and the only breakthrough point should be in social network. The Web3, all the definitions and the meaning actually originated from a social network because it's all about users' data. So who hold users' data? Of course, social network will hold your everyday activity, right? Of what you browse and where you go and what you care about. So from social network, MetaLife, from social network, and also some incentivization, because you have your social data and social activity, all those data actually have value. Okay, but this time, not the platform to make money from it, but the users can actually own the data value. So how can they own the value? That's token. Data have value represented by the token. So when you use Twitter, Facebook, and TikTok, and you cannot earn anything, you contribute your data but without any return. And the MetaLife, if you use it, and you can always be rewarded with token. Okay, so people, you don't have to pay, but your activity will be rewarded with token. So more and more people will be attracted by the MetaLife, which have the same functionality of Twitter plus Facebook, but with value return. So in this way, we help to educate and, not only like, the crypto, like the lovers, enthusiasts, but the common Web2 users. And most important, we call currently unconnected people the native user of value internet and Web3. So the first time they are going to use MetaLife, even without internet, they are using the Web3 applications. When they can be easily connected by the Meshbox and Smart Mesh and the Starlink, this space ground integration network, and they become the native user of value internet. So they will think the crypto is natural with the internet. So in this way, and massive adoption of Web3 is possible. So that's our, our view about how to and actually accelerate the Web3 adoption.
Got it. Well, to be honest,
That's a really good explanation, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Jerry. Good question.
Thank you for the great question as well. Yeah, so to be honest, I've got quite the same question that came to me as well. So it sounds like you have a great technical solution, but like you say, there are lots of great projects out there, but very few people really know about them. So could you elaborate more about your go-to-market strategy? The one that will overcome Tim Berners-Lee's problem.
Sure. Henry, can I take that one?
Yeah, Brian.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Brian.
Thanks, man. So again, if you go back to some of my history, there's over 20 years of building companies and creating a holding company that now consists of nearly 90 entities. There's over 150 joint ventures around the world, and we're proudly operating in over 25 different industries. With that being said, we have built an arsenal of incredible relationships with Fortune 500 companies around the world. We've built massive communities and projects. I'm honored to see some of our projects and our Bapes Clan members in here listening. Mo, another co-founder of Bapes, and I, he was just popped in before. We have built and acquired NFT projects right now over the last few months that have the reach of millions of people in those communities. Even in this downward market that people are concerned about, we had two 10,000-piece NFT collections sell out. So we have a very powerful, strong community of people that are already ready to be introduced and start utilizing and using MetaLife, already baked in. That's the fun part of what I do. And when I work with companies and great teams and great technologies such as MetaLife, is we take everything that I've built, so it's all of our access, our relationships, and we start putting together incredibly powerful partnerships. Henry touched on one of them being ESTV. The esports and gaming world is a phenomenal example of what can be done inside of MetaLife with these incredibly talented players around the world that can contribute their content into the MetaLife social and MetaLife gaming platform and increase their earnings, as Henry said, just by being active and connecting directly with their audience. But more importantly, being able to connect to an audience that never knew they existed before. Again, that is true power, and that is true global connectivity, is what we're doing here with MetaLife, is to connect the unconnected world. So we have a phenomenal pipeline of partnerships already in place, already to put out into the world and create momentum, drive people to MetaLife. And once they're there and experiencing what this platform can do for them in a decentralized way and showing the world what a true Web3 decentralized platform and metaverse really is, it's game changing. And Henry touched on the telecoms being the gatekeepers of the world because of billing and because of access. MetaLife becomes that global gatekeeper for the world to have connectivity and constant connectivity and be able to earn, be able to enhance their quality of their life and be able to have experiences that they never were able to have before. That's going to be very infectious, and that's going to be a place where consumers are going to want to be and hang out and meet and connect with people. And that's going to be a place where businesses need to be in order to connect to those people that are here, because it's their only way where they have access to true privacy and true protection to their data. And that's where they're going to want to be spending all of their time. I know it, and that's what we've been building. And the acceptance that we've got to date with the conversations that we have has proven that to be true.
Got it. Hey, sounds like you guys have it all planned out. Now, let me just divert a little to a philosophical question. So, what exactly is the metaverse, and how would you define it?
Brian.
Well, there's the how I've been describing it. Well, you have the typical definition of it, where it's a combination of virtual reality and mixed reality worlds where you access through a browser or a headset, and that's what the metaverse is being able to access this world. Looking at this movement in the metaverse and where everybody's going into it is for me much like what we all experienced what social media was like back when Instagram and Facebook was started. It's a new movement of places for people to go and have incredible experiences, to build communities, and to be able to evolve as technology evolves, and where we're spending our time, where we're creating commerce, and where we're interacting with. Right now, things like music, like Henry touched on before, that's one of the most greatest experiences and the greatest examples of what can be done in the metaverse, and how content creators, whether they're independent artists or even up to top tier famous pop stars around the world, it's a way for them to be able to give a show and an experience to people in a virtual reality world where they may not have been able to give that fan that opportunity before. And that's very exciting about where we're moving and what can be done in this space. And as it becomes more mainstream and more people understand how to access it, which is the barrier, just like question before on most people don't have crypto. It's got to be so easy to access, easy to understand, and easy to experience. And that's what we're building here with MetaLife, to be able to instantly be able to access the metaverse, participate in that experience, and be rewarded for it.
Got it. Cool. So now back to the project itself. So how would you compare yourselves to your competitors, both on-chain and off-chain?
Oh, yeah. So Brian just mentioned about like metaverse. So for metaverse, there's for Meta and Microsoft and many Web2 giants, they are building metaverse, and it's called a Web2 metaverse. So it's different from what MetaLife is trying to build, because in the Web2 world, all the data belongs to the platform. So in the metaverse era, and it can be extremely dangerous, because not only your profile, your social activity, but your physical parameters and will be recorded on the centralized server. So that can be extremely difficult and also dangerous for every user actually. Okay, so I think one Web2 company is punished by their government, because that's a huge one. Okay, it's almost the size of Facebook. Their algorithm is always running in the backend to analyze users' data, and in a way, and very, very dangerous. It can offend the users a lot of privacy. They're trying to figure out where is your next destination, who is the one is going to make appointment with you, and what are you going to buy, and where you want to spend your time during a weekend, or with who, and what actions. So with the Web2 metaverse, so it will be unbelievable. It will be just like Ready Player One, that the actor can be extremely difficult, dangerous, can be almost annihilated from the earth, right? So that's why metaverse have to be built. An open metaverse have to be built on a Web3 foundation. So MetaLife is trying to build the foundation, and from now on, because users hold their data in their cell phones, and nobody else can actually steal their their data. Okay, even they lost their cell phone, they can use their private key and to restore and recover their social graph and from the peers and connected. So they are the only one know their own data. So build on this Web3, the metaverse can be difficult to build, but it's safe for the humankind. So it's actually the commonwealth for the humankind. So it's take a longer time than the Web2 and competitors. Okay, so that's about the metaverse. For social network, and a lot of social network claimed to be Web3, but none of them actually store their data profile and in user's device or in a space that can only be accessed by users. So nowadays, we see no other Web3 application with a blockchain solution actually store users' profile safely. So we are the only one. So MetaLife right now is the only one that even our development team and admin of the software cannot look into users' data. So it's 100% secure and privacy. And based on that, social network and MetaLife can be built in the right way.
Got it. Hey, sounds like you guys are creating a lot of common good here. Well, just one jarring question here that's been coming to me quite often these days. So how can the average Joes like me participate in this new decentralized internet and the new metaverse?
Yeah, it's very simple. Right now, MetaLife is beta testing in the community core group, and 1 month later, that will be the public beta testing. So the whitelist, and everyone can apply for the whitelist to beta testing, and all the people join to test will be rewarded with a MLT, because when you use MetaLife and your actually contents, whatever you create and whatever you interact and with users, and will be rewarded, because those data carry values, and those values belongs to users. Okay, so in this way, everyone actually can participate and in the MetaLife testing, and later, downloading and use it. And also they can participate and in the decentralized internet by for example, Smart Mesh, join Smart Mesh, because Smart Mesh actually the fundamental Spectrum public chain and support the MetaLife. So I think Smart Mesh token, SMT, is listed on Huobi. So everyone actually can join and this decentralized internet, and by going logging Huobi and to buy the SMT tokens. Okay. And also the Meshbox and with the POM can from bottom up to form the network. So the token called Mesh. Currently it's listed on the HIT BTC, so people can buy the token there. And for MetaLife, so this ecosystem application, this is the current relatively new project. So it's going to do the fundraising and after the AMA. So it's a very early stage, limited quarter. And for those who can contribute to the community and contribute to development and also the marketing, and welcome those and the VCs and accredited investors and to join us. So that's several ways, and people can participate. Brian, you have more to say? Yeah.
I was just going to add, definitely make sure you follow us on our socials, Twitter, join our Discord. participate and engage with the community. I'm accessible to everybody. I utilize LinkedIn and Twitter all the time. If you have any unique ideas or strategies or thoughts to contribute to the growth or potential partnerships, always open to those conversations, and always very happy and eager to speak with this incredible community and continue to grow this great platform.
Oh, great stuff. All right, guys.
I have a quick question that what's the use case of the MLT for the MetaLife? What's the use case of that?
Yeah, so basically, users' data carry value. So when a user and first time log in, and they are going to be rewarded with MLT when they do Blogger and interact with other users, and they can be rewarded with MLT. And also, you use MLT, you can join like a DAO. This is a organization that to help the creator economy, because in the past, and both Brian and I'm working on the social network, and for many years, and for those Web2, right? For example, live streaming, and some hosts make a lot of money from the fans, but fans can never enjoy, and the fast development of their idol. So the DAO can help, the host actually to develop the fans club, and then also the DAO can be, actually used for like charity and any other create event, and also the MLT is actually circulated in the whole platform, and the platform is different from like Web2, for example, Facebook and Twitter, right? So both Facebook, Twitter, and have a very big market cap, and in the stock exchange, but users have nothing to do with the value. But for MetaLife, it's different. So MetaLife will not make money from the platform, even there's advertisement or transaction fees, for example, from the Open Galaxy, the NFT marketplace, and all those income will use to buy back the MetaLife token, MLT, so that the value can be shared by all the community members who use the MetaLife. So that's completely different from the Web2. Okay, that's the importance of the MLT token. So some people say, okay, and for the blockchain and the crypto world, it's all speculations, and for Elon Musk, cannot see where is Web3, and for the founder of Twitter, Jack Dorsey, and said like Web3 is actually controlled by the VC. I think they only reflect, a side of the Web3, and what they have found out. But the real Web3 is actually a revolution. It actually redistribute the wealth created by users, and so MLT as a token will play an important role in this decentralized social network. And also it can be used in the DAO of DAOs. And what is DAO of DAOs? So it is proposed by Daniel Larimer, the founder of the EOS. Okay, he is the first one who invented blockchain-based social network. But according to him, And those projects are not very successful. Why? Because of governance. So decentralized social network, without servers, without admin, so the governance can be very difficult. So he proposed the DAO of DAOs, which is very suitable and to the MetaLife governance. And for this governance can actually help people and from every nations and can coexist on the decentralized social network, which will be the base for the open and inclusive metaverse. So MLT will be like, actually be the utility token and to drive this decentralized social network and the metaverse and hence. Okay.
Got it. Cool.
Thank you.
Cool. Yeah, thank you for the great question, CC, and thank you, Henry, for the great answer. So yeah, we've got a bit of time left, so let me just settle the big elephant in the room. So how exactly can we make money off MLT and of the new metaverse and of meta life in general?
Brian, you want?
As far as it relates to think of the content creator. So if you have the ability to engage with your community and they could invest in your own personal DAO or be part of the content, the creations that you're creating, and that MLT token they are earning it for participating in the MetaLife platform, but you're also having your fans or followers actually invest in you or participate in your journey with you by putting MLT tokens into your content or your creations, or if you're an artist or anything to help fuel your passions and fuel your career in this full, true, decentralized environment. And one of the things that Henry said that was really important, that I think it's very important to think of, that this platform can't be manipulated. It can't be taken on a path for ulterior motives, like public companies, like Henry was mentioning, or if there's VC investments, there's other motives that push great technologies and great companies and towards a route that may necessarily not have been the original route that the founder or founders wanted it to be in. But in this type of a global platform where you have amazing creators, amazing people that have huge followings on things like Instagram and Facebook and Twitter and TikTok, all these people, even though they are making a portion of some kind of money from their influence on those platforms, it's those other companies that's taking 90% of all the potential earnings and revenues that creator should be earning. And YouTube, of course. So anything where there's great content, really experienced, amazing, clever, and creative people, they're putting their heart and soul into these platforms because they have the audience, but they're not earning what they should be earning. MetaLife is that platform to give these people full control over direct access to putting out that content into their fans' eyes and enjoyment, and then those followers that participate in their journey with them are able to take a part of being part of the revolution and investing in them and putting money into them, and everybody grows in that environment.
Got it.
So, and also, for MetaLife, the unique feature of connect the unconnected actually make its users, it's kind of like 7 billion users. So for Facebook or Twitter, so only those people with internet can use Facebook and Twitter. So it's limited to 3 billion and below. But for MetaLife, even without internet, you can still use MetaLife. So that will be very broader, a user base. So it's this social network and its utility, can cover, billions of people. So that's a different order from what Bitcoin and Ethereum and user base. So it's a different user base. Okay.
Got it. Whew, great stuff, guys. Well, unfortunately, we're really running out of time now. So, hey, guys, it's been an absolute blast. Henry, Brian, CC, thank you for taking the time off to share a wealth of knowledge and experience with us. So, well, we've got the usual disclaimer. Well, Research DAO is supported by Huobi, but our opinions don't represent Huobi's official view. But before we go, guys, we've got some great giveaways. So everyone in this AMA will receive a free NFT from MetaLife. So look out for how to get your free NFT on Gleam. Enter email, and MetaLife will contact you via your email. So, yeah. Hey, thank you so much for your time, guys. It's been a blast. Cheers.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Cheers. Thank you,
Ben.
everybody.
Cheers.
Have a great
Thanks,
day.
everyone.
All right.
Okay,
Bye,
bye-bye.
guys.